Welcome back to another project. In this project, we are going to create a mouse event project. As you can see from the final version of the project, when we move the mouse around the screen, we see a different numbers in a mouse X position and Y position. When we go to the top left, we see the numbers is going toward 0. And if we go to the right down, we see that the numbers is getting bigger. This is actually the position of the mouse, the left and horizontal and the vertical position. This website is going to be useful for someone who wants to design and do the CSS for his website. You can get these numbers and check how many pixels they are far from the from the top, from the left. In this project, we're going to learn how to use add event listener to get these numbers and how we track the mouse position in the browser. In the next section, we're going to start with the HTML part of the project. So see you in the next section. All right, let's start our project. First, we open the Visual Studio Code. Here we close the Get Started tab, and in the File menu, we click on the Open folder. I would like to create a project in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So here we click on the desktop. Here we click on the New Folder button to create a new folder. We name the folder Mouse Event, which is the name of our project. We press Enter, and here we click on the Select Folder button. We close the Get Started tab again, and here on the left, we create an HTML file. So we right-click, and we click on New File. We name the file index.html, and we press Enter. Here on the right side, now we can see our index.html file, which is completely empty. But we can use an exclamation mark to create an HTML5 boilerplate. So we write an exclamation mark, and we choose the first auto suggestion. We can turn on the word wrap by using Alt-C to see all the code. As you can see, now we have the HTML5 boilerplate, which includes the doc type, which tells the browser what version of HTML the page is written in. For HTML5, we just need to have HTML here. Then we have an HTML tag, which is the top level element inside the HTML file, and the lang attribute here in the opening tag defines the language of the page. In our case, we set the language to be English. Then we have the head section and the body section. All the codes goes inside the body section, but in the head tag, we have metadata tags and also the title tag. The first metadata tag is for HTML character encoding, and we set it to be UTF-8, which is recommended by HTML5 because it nearly contains all characters and symbols. Then we have the compatibility meta tag, which tells the Internet Explorer browser to use the most recent rendering engine, which is Edge. And also we have viewport meta tag, which tells the browser on how to resize the page. The first part of the viewport meta tag tells the browser to set the page's width to the device's screen. For example, if we have a mobile screen, the width will be smaller than when we have a computer screen. Also, we set the initial zoom level of the page here as a default is 100%, and we can change it by changing it this number. Then we have the title tag, which sets the title of the page, which is now document. We can see that inside the browser now. In order to see the browser inside the Visual Studio Code, we need to use the Live Preview extension, which we have installed in the introduction section. So we right-click here, and we click on Live Preview, Show Preview. Now we can see the browser on the right side with the title document. We can change the title here, and we set it to be, for example, Mouse Event, which is the name of our project. We can close this Explorer section for now, so we have more space for the index.html. All right. In the body section, we add an empty container. It means a div with a class of container. So we just write .container, and we press enter to accept the auto suggestion. As you can see, now we have a div with a class of container, and inside this div, we create another div with a class of mouse event. And inside this div, we added number as a hard-coded, which is the mouse position. But later, using JavaScript, we can dynamically get the mouse position and change this number automatically. So, and then we have the h4 tag, which just saying mouse x position, and we add a parenthesis saying pixels, which means in pixels. And also we should copy this to have the y position as well. So we copy this using Alt Shift arrow down, and we change this x to y. So now we have these numbers and also everything in a hard-coded version, but later using JavaScript, we're going to add functionality to the project and change these numbers systematically and based on the position of the mouse. That was it for the HTML part of our project. In the next section, we're going to start styling our project and bring these numbers to the middle and in a box. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the HTML part of our project. We just hard-coded the mouse position, X and Y. In this section, we're going to start styling the project using CSS. First, we need to create a CSS file. So we open the Explorer section on the left side using Ctrl-Shift-E, and we right-click here and we click on New File. We name the file style.css and we press Enter. Before styling the project using CSS, we need to add a link to the CSS file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html file, and just under the title section and at the end of the head tag, we just add a link tag. We just write link and we choose the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. Now, as you can see, now we have a link tag with the relationship between the HTML file and the external style sheet. And the href attribute here defines the destination of the link or the URL as we have the index.html and the style.css at the same directory. We just need to write style.css for the URL. All right, now we can start styling our project. Let's save this file and we go to style.css, and let's close this for now. We open this a little bit. We start from the body section. We just write body. We open a set of curly braces, and first we remove the default margin. As you can see, there is a small gap here. So we remove this space using margin 0, as you can see here. Then we use display flex to be able to bring these items to the center horizontally first using justify content center. And then we use height 100% of the viewport height. So we write 100 VH to be able to bring the items to the center vertically, because we set the height of the body to the height of the screen size. So we just write align items centers to bring the items in the center vertically. Let's change the background color to be dark blue, and let's change the color to be brighter to see them. So let's change the color to be white. Let's change the font of the text using font family property. We just need to write here font family cursive. Now we have a beautiful fonts. And next we need to add a box for each of these elements. The elements we have here is, as you can see in the index.html, this class with the mouse event class. So we're going to target this div with the class of mouse event. So we're targeting both of them with this class. So in the style.css here, we just write dot mouse dash event. We open a set of curly braces, and we add a border to see, just say border. We change the border to solid, so you can see a border. We change the height of the border to be 1 pixels, and change the color to be light gray. All right. Let's add some margin. So we add some space between the two elements. So we just say margin, let's say 20 pixels, or even more. We can do 40 pixels. All right. Let's bring these elements next to each other when we have a bigger size screen. So we target the parent of mouse elements, which is container. Here we just say dot container, and we change the display to flex. But we want these elements to be on the top of each other when we have a smaller screen. And also we want this width to be always big. So we change the mean width to be, for example, 150 pixels. Oh, I changed the mean height. So we just change this to width. All right, now we always have the same size here. Let's change this 100, change it to 180. So yeah, that's fine. But we want these elements to be on top of each other when we have a smaller screen. So we had a media query here. So we just write an ampersand sign. So we just check the media query. We remove this screen and change it to max width to be 500 pixels. And for the screen smaller than 500 pixels, we change the container, its flex direction to column. So when we have a smaller screen, these are going on top of each other. All right, that looks fine. So let's bring this mouse X position to the top and this 20 to the middle. So the mouse event, let's add some text. Oh, we don't need text align center actually. If we add here, we can add text align center to bring them in the middle. And also let's bring this to the top. So we can target that using mouse events, and we're targeting that H4. So we just write H4 here, and we set the position to be absolute, but we want it to be absolute relative to this box, which is this container mouse event. So we set the position of this to be relative, and let's add some height too to this. So say mean height to be 100 pixels, for example. All right. So we set the position absolute for this, and we can bring it to the top using top minus, let's try 30 pixels. It's not enough, 50 pixels. So that looks fine, but the size of the font is too big. So we just change the font size to be 12 pixels, or just say 14, yeah. And we bring them to the middle too by using left 50%, but we are bringing the edge of them to the center. In order to bring all of them to the center, we can use transform translate x minus 50%. And also, we don't want these lines to be on the top of each other. We can turn off the word wrap using white space, no wrap. So they're always next to each other. And also, we want the font weight to be a little bit smaller. So we just set the font weight to be 100. And let's change the color to be light gray too. So it's going to be a little bit dimmer. All right. Let's bring this 20 to the center as well. So here we just add justify content center and align item center, but we have to change the display to flex. All right. So we need, for bringing them to the middle, we can use display flex and justify content and align items centers, bring them exactly in the middle. And let's change the size to be a little bit bigger. So we just say 20 pixels or just say 30 pixels. Yeah, that looks fine. Now for the styling. In the next section, we're going to change this number based on the position of the mouse in the screen dynamically. So in the next section, we're going to add the functionality using JavaScript. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished styling our project using CSS. In this section, we're going to start adding functionality to our project using JavaScript. We're going to dynamically change these numbers based on the mouse X and Y positions. First, we need to create a JavaScript file. So here, we open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-E. And on the left side in the Explorer section, we right-click and we click on New File. We name the file index.js and we press Enter. Before adding functionality to the project using JavaScript, we need to link the JavaScript file to the HTML file. So we go back to the index.html and just at the end of the body tag, we just write SC and we click on the second autosuggestion, the one with the SRC. Now we have a script tag and we can link the HTML file to the index.js file. SRC, similar to href, defines the destination of the link. And as both files, I mean the index.js and index.html files, are located at the same directory, we just need to write index.js for the URL. Now we can use the JavaScript in our project. The first thing we need to bring to the JavaScript and the first element we need to target is this one, the div with the class of container. Because it has a class, we can return it using query selector method. So inside the JavaScript, we create a constant and we call it container element. We equal this to, let's close this section so we have more space to see the code. We just write document.querySelector, and inside a set of parentheses, we just write .container because the div has a class, so we just need to have dot here. Let's use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see the codes clearly. Then we need to add an event listener to the window so we can get all the information of the mouse. So inside the window, we add an event listener. So we just write .add event listener. Add event listener has two parameters. The first one is the event, and the second one is a function that will be triggered when the event happens. And the event we want to target is the mouse move. So whenever we move the mouse, these events will be triggered, will trigger a function. So we write a function after a comma. We use an arrow function. First, we can see the event. We just write event here and we console log the event. So when we, let's open the console using the open the DevTools pane here from the hamburger button. So we open the DevTools. And inside the console, we can see that the mouse event is showing. Now, if we move the mouse inside the browser, you can see that they are showing a new position for the mouse. When we get close to the top, we get the lower amount in client X and client Y, as you can see. And we go to this way, we get the higher numbers. The things we want to get is client X and client Y. So we close this console. We don't need it anymore. We delete the log, and we need to change this container inside the container. So we just say container elements and we dot inner HTML because we want to change the HTML inside the container. We set it equal to a backtick so we can have a variable inside. So we copy this all divs and we bring them here. Now we have here all the HTML inside, but we want to change this 20 to the X position. So we added variable. So we write a $sign, a set of curly braces, and inside this, we just say event.client X. So when we move our mouse now inside the browser, we can get the mouse X position inside this box. So let's do the same things for the Y position as well. So we write a $sign and open a set of curly braces, and we just get the event, but this time we get the client Y. So before entering inside the browser, we just get the 20, which we are here. We have here. And when we enter, we can see the X position. For example, here we have 10 and 11 pixels from the X and Y position. It calculates from here. So we have 0 and 0 here, and the maximum is this side. And if you open the browser too, we just open the browser inside the Google Chrome. We can see now we have a bigger screen, and we are getting a bigger X and Y position here. Yeah, that was it for our project. I hope you enjoyed and learned new things. That was a small project, but you could learn some important things like add event listener and using the event mouse move, and how to have the inner HTML and change it dynamically. Yeah, that was it for the project, and I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. I'll see you in the next project.